is you. Well, I've got to say, last week I definitely missed him. Good morning, Mr. Bill Carne.
Good morning, young lady. How are you and Sir Tommy? You both felt you're looking bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Oh,
We're very
yes.
good, I think, aren't we?
Well, also,
Yeah,
I
terrific.
I just had a scroll on Facebook but before the news came on, and it's Christmas Eve. What is there not to be excited about?
Ooh.
That's right. Yeah, our family are great for celebrating these Eve things.
Oh, are you? What are you
Yeah,
going to be getting up to then, Bill?
well, not so much tonight, chef. We will see our one daughter who lives in Haverfordwest and our husband, Wendy and Richard. But Wendy started a system years ago where, well, there's Steve Price, Pele, saying good morning to us. That's nice to see. He's up, ready to go out and do his work for the council on the roads. Wendy started this thing where Christmas Eve we have a stocking each with
Oh,
small
Ah,
presents that she's lovingly collected all the year. And we do the same now. So it's a bit of a tradition. I know I always have a couple of memory sticks, the
yeah.
novelty
oh
ones,
yeah,
which I love.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and
Oh,
I'm
I
sure
love
with
that.
you, yeah, with you, Gina and Cliff, and with Tom and
Yeah.
his lovely, lovely girl Helen, I'm sure you'll all be doing the same thing on your nice things.
Oh,
Indeed,
yes.
that's it. It's lovely to get
Mm.
together with the family and, well, have these traditions as well. So, Bill, what are we doing sports-wise this week?
Well, there's not so much formalised sport this week, obviously, although the indoor cricket has continued at pace with Patrick Hannon in his first year doing an amazing job with that. So that was played twice this week, Monday and Wednesday. There's lots of things going on an informal basis. Two of the big rugby games this weekend on Saturday, both of them. Or on, sorry, it's not Saturday. Yeah, it is Saturday. No, it's not. I'm confused.
Monday.
Monday. That's it.
Monday.
Boxing Day. Um, there's the Bishop Cup game in Haverfordwest between them and their old rivals Langham. Fortunes have ebbed and flowed there over the years, and Haverfordwest would be expected to win that now. But it'll be a battle, and I use the word advisedly, so let's hope it's a nice friendly game. Yeah, and something they've restarted this year, which is great as well. I'm hopeful there'll be a game in the morning between Langham Youth and Haverfordwest Youth. So it's nice the youngsters having something to do with that. And then Whitland and Narberth have reinstituted an old favourite of theirs, the churn match. Doesn't
Oh,
sound much a churn, but it's a nice engraved silver churn, and they'll compete for that now every year, which is lovely. And of course, tonight is the big football match, Tom, as you know, and I'm sure
Hmm.
Gina does as well, at the Oggy Bridgemeadow Stadium.
Yeah. Going back to that Narberth and Whitland match, isn't it great that a match that hasn't been played for so long? I think that Fraser caught up with one of the coaches from Whitland, I believe, last week, and that they've been the holders of the churn for 25 years. And isn't it lovely that a
oh,
tradition has come back round
Yeah.
for the opportunity to have this moment on Boxing Day to bring the community together?
Yeah, and what's nice as well, a lot of clubs used to have before COVID matches on Boxing Day
yeah.
with like Pembroke used to play the Exiles, and that was made up of students who were away who were coming home, people who worked away coming home to see their families, and that was always a great Boxing
Yeah.
Day tradition. And I'm hopeful that that will come back gradually. Same in football, there's the odd games like that where games for charity are played in clubs, and I hope that they'll carry and grow in strength. They'll carry on and grow in strength. So
As
yeah, it's a nice time. I enjoy
yeah.
that on a. I said that or go for a nice long walk on Boxing Day. I always feel that's a nice day to get out if the weather's dry or if it's raining a bit. We're not sugar, we won't melt, will we?
It's these Boxing Day games, though, that really do bring that sort of rivalry, but fun element to it as well, and also well supported because a lot of people are off work and home as well. Like you say, the exiles there coming back.
Yeah, it's a great
Yeah.
time. Whether Whitland and Arbeth and Haverfordwest versus Langham, they certainly have the rivalry. Whether
Yeah.
they will have the friendliness, Gownie well, wait and see.
Wait
Yeah.
and see. And of
Yeah.
course, is that Bishop Cup, is that also doubling up as a league match? Because, of course, they're in the same division.
It is indeed. They were due to play each other the last game that was on before this breakup now, and the Welsh Government gave them permission to postpone that till now, so it'll double up as a league game as
Oh,
well.
fantastic. And in fact,
Yeah,
they're making a whole day of it as well, aren't they? The youth teams are going to be having a run out beforehand.
yes, yeah, that'll be great because
Yeah.
both teams are aware. Sadly, youth rugby has been on a decline a bit in Pembrokeshire, like second team games. And it's nice to see that both of them have reconstituted their youth teams, because every club needs talent coming through, and the way to do that is to play at youth level,
Yeah. So I'm sure if you check those different social media channels of those different clubs, you're going to find out the times for the different kickoffs. So go on down and make a day of it. A nice reason to get out of the house on Boxing Day, as Bill just said, to stretch your legs a little bit. And then this evening, then Bill, you've already previewed it. Haverfordwest County in. Well, I'm going to put, for those that are listening at home, the quotation marks in the air, the local derby against against Aberystwyth this evening.
Well, I watched the game in Aberystwyth. I went up with Colin and Helen Fawcett, whose son Ben was playing. And the old cliche, we were robbed, I think, was quite fair to Haverfordwest. They battled back. They lost 2-1, but Ben Fawcett scored a goal. I was in line. I don't criticise referees, but the assistant referee flagged for offside when he was 2 yards out from the goal, and no way was he offside. You can't blame one incident, but it was disappointing. And Haverfordwest will go in. We say every game, Tom, you go there is vital. I hope a huge crowd will cheer Haverfordwest on. Go up and do that, because it really is an important game. We say that about every game that goes ahead there, but they've lost 2 on the trot after winning 3 on the trot, and all of a sudden you're back down to 8th, 9th, and back under that pressure, and it's a hard thing to do. But I hope we'll have good support there tonight at the Oggy Bridge Meadow, as I say, and give the Bluebirds a bit of a shout.
Yeah, no, that'd be nice. And in fact, I'm gonna jump ahead a little bit, because of course Tony Pennock, Haverfordwest County manager, was he's received a bit of an accolade, isn't he?
Yeah, I was delighted last November. He was voted as Manager of the Month, which is great to see. To get that is an accolade, as you say, and he deserves it. He's done a lot of work there. It's never easy. It's doubly so, I think, at the Bridge Meadow in some ways, because of the relatively small squad and the injuries they've been hit with. So he deserved that. It's good. Nice guy. Yeah.
And in fact, am I right in thinking, was his son nominated for Player of the Month as well?
Yeah, it's quite funny, because he plays for Middle Company now. Remind me, Cardiff Met, is it? Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The other week they were in Haverfordwest playing, and there were 2 little boys behind the goal, and they gave him chip throughout.
Oh,
no.
The second half. They couldn't have been more than about 9 and 10. I don't know if I approve of it when it's continual, but it was quite funny. I was standing fairly close to him. I didn't say a word. And with about 2 minutes to go, when Cardiff Met went ahead, he just turned and he said, "Oh, hello, you two. You're still here, are you?" And I spoke to Tony in between that and now, and I said, "Your son's got a bit of class about him, where some goalies would have told them where to go in no uncertain terms." Yeah.
Well, but when you're the goalkeeper on that home end, the clubhouse end, you're a matter of meters away from everyone, aren't you? And the coffee stop as well. Like you're in the match when you're at the big stadium.
And there's 1 or 2 dopes that don't know how to behave. I hope tonight goes ahead. There's been a little bit of bother recently with away teams smuggling in drink, because drink isn't allowed in the ground. But last match, I saw some youngsters from Haverfordwest bringing bottles or cans in, and it's no time for that. It's no time, and they're all left in a corner. Then it's awful. Yeah. So I'm hoping we'll have a good game tonight, a hard battle, and 3 points for the Bluebirds. Let's hope.
Come on, the Bluebirds. And then you mentioned the indoor cricket going at a pace. They just like spending time with each other, don't they, Bill?
I think you're right, but Mrs. Carne would say I like spending time with them, because...
No, just going back there, Bill. You just like to go to the garage on the way to the indoor cricket in Neyland, because there's bargains. And
do you know, that garage, I take my hat off. And do you know what I'm delighted to see? I discovered since, I've got to give him a plug if you don't mind, now you've raised it, the young fellow who owns that used to be in my year in school.
That's Darren where you like him from.
And I haven't seen him since he left. He's done brilliant. So Darren, I just suppose you're up listening this time of morning. But if you are, from Mr. Carne, Uncle Bill, well done. It's
there we are.
Yeah, and you're right. I had my petrol there this week as well.
What did they have on the 2-for-1s, Bill? Or on the end aisle there on the bargains? Did you grab any biscuits or crisps?
I'm not allowed to comment on that, because
there we
are. They're doing the chocolate bars for 60 pence each. So I'm told.
There we are. Right then, so back onto this indoor cricket then. What news have you got for us this week with
Well,
that?
there were two lots of games this week. Neyland A showed their power this week. The setup has changed slightly. Now there's 3 teams every week, and they play each other. So there's 3 games, and Neyland A are a mighty unit. They're far and away the best side, and they broke the record this week for the number of runs scored in one innings at the Hub. They scored 155 for 1 in their 10 overs. Against Pembroke Dock, and restricted the Dock to 103 for 5. Nick Koeman had 34 not out. Sean Hannon 27 not out. They retire when they get to 25 and can come back in later. Brad McDermott Jenkins 25, John 25, and then for Pembroke Dock, Scott Griffiths, the captain, 33 not out, and Rhys Daly 25. Then Haverfordwest, who'd had a bit of a bad time recently, but they'd come back. They lost this week. Haverfordwest 108 for 5, and Pembroke Dock A then 109 for 4. Tom Grimwood runs again there. And then in the last game, Haverfordwest back in action, 128 all out. It's not often they're all out. Paul Murray had 44, and Nick Koeman 31. Patrick Bellaby 42. I think it's fair to say they're 3 of the very top batsmen.
Yeah.
And they beat Haverfordwest. Going on to the Wednesdays, I had to laugh because the old-timers, the Pembrokeshire Vets, and as Tom rightly alluded now, they like go in there. They enjoy their indoor cricket more than any team I've ever come across. They regularly got 7 or 8 players vying for the 6 places. They're great fun. Ian Milsom is the captain of one. I taught Minky, and he typifies if he's not playing in a game, he'll score while he's there as well to help out. But they had them, I think they must have had their plum put in too early this week. And I've said that on Pembrokeshire Sport. They played Burton, who are an up-and-coming. They're all the opposites are amazing. Burton are all, I would think, they all seem over 17 to me, but that's my age. But they're all under 30, and the Pembrokeshire Vets are all over 40, and perhaps to the north of that as well. And Burton scored 130 for 2, Toby Heyman 32, Richard James 26, Harry Owen 27, all retired. The Pembrokeshire Vets 39 all out. Lost by 91 runs. Norm, if you score 91, you're pleased. And Rob Nicholas had 15, but there was a wicket apiece for Jack Davis, Harry Owen, and Toby Heyman. So that was a real pounding for them. But they made amends. They played in Huntleton the next game, and Huntleton 111 for 2. And Steph Williams 29 not out, and Dylan Davis 25 not out. And the Vets got their total and hit the winning 3 of the very last ball of the whole game. So they got 112 for 2. David Haynes, 26 not out, one of the best teachers and head teachers I've ever met. Kevin Bowen, 24. And Neil Williams, an old fogey from Cresselly who plays for Wales in his age group, he had that vital 3 off the last ball. And then the last game of the day, Burton back in action, 2 easy wins for them. Huntleton 76 all out, Dylan Davis 23 not out, David Lockett 24. And then Burton got that without losing a wicket. Toby Heyman 27 and James Davis 25. Danbridge finished it off. That was a pretty short game because Huntleton were all out in 6 overs, and Burton took 5 overs to get. So I think Patrick Hannon was quite happy to go home early for one night. So so lots of action. But as you say, Gina, you say about competition and fun. It's certainly linked with that. And I applaud the old fogies there. They got 2 teams. That's how strong they are. And they play. There are some people playing there who are 65. And they play the game. All right, they can't run between the wickets like Tom might do still, but like the youngsters do. And there's lots of run-outs as a result. But they play with that great enthusiasm and still a high skill level. It's nice to see.
It's going to be interesting, though, come summer when they get out on the big pitch. That is going to be... that will be good, I think, because they've just done this. I see this indoor cricket as a real good practice and a real sort of technique.
Do you know, Gina, I applaud your understanding, because there are some clubs, I won't name them, they know who they are, who I think rather silly when he started off saying, there's no point in us playing this, it's different from outdoor, which is what we're interested in. And it is different. You can't hit the ball so hard. If you do it ricochets off the sidewall to a fielder, you've got to nudge the ball. But it's a great practice. I really think they've been playing for 2 months now. It resumes after Christmas, We're just over halfway through now. So Patrick has instituted a system where they play each other twice. He's also got a system now where the finals will be televised, will be on a streaming thing. It's amazing. Yeah, it is. And there's live stream stuff on the WhatsApps now. They practice. They practice their bowling. They practice their fielding, their judgment of runs, and it is a great preparation for the summer. I don't care what anyone says.
I think it is, and I think it's going to really show. And the teams that haven't partake this winter, next winter, watch them. They'll be in there.
There's more this year. There's 2 unofficial divisions this year. I think that'll be formalised even more next year. But it's a great opportunity, and of course, if you win it, like Neyland, twice or 3 times, Neyland have actually got through They've been Welsh champions for many years, but also they're in the finals again this year now, pretty soon. But they have got the Lords. They've played. They've had to show true commitment on a Sunday. Then they've been off all over the south of England, up north, and they do it. And they've got the Lords, and the joy of that. They haven't won at Lords yet, because I think some of the other sides might draft in the odd player, which they're allowed to do as a guest.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't do that. But it's a true spirited game, I think.
Yeah. And that spirit comes down to the people that are involved as well. And you've given us a list of people. You've mentioned Patrick a few times, it's his first year running the indoor league after Peter Davis, and he has done a sterling job. There's people turning up twice a week to make that happen. But there's also the umpires and the scorers, Bill, who without them you wouldn't have a fair competitive fixture.
The indoor league has been very lucky, Tom, that they've had 3 marvellous organisers. Wendy Bradshaw from St Ishmael's did it for years. Now, there's an organiser, Gina. She should be on the county committee, not the county ladies committee, the full county executive. She should be doing that. And Lauren Davis from Carew Criselli area as well. They should be doing that. But Patrick took over then. Wendy Bradshaw gave up after 10, 12 years. And then Peter Davis from Neyland took that over. Swansea Jack. We've had him on air a few times. What you see is what you get with Peter. I love that. He's about 5'3" tall and 6'3" wide. He used to play prop. He's one of my best pals in sport, and he did a great job. He did about 4 years. Patrick took over this year. He's got young kids. He lives in Neyland, luckily, and he's updated technologically. And it's a great thing. But the umpires, then you've got Rob Bellaby and Alan Hansen, who live in Neyland. They help. And then Chris Stapleton and Steve Williams travel from Huntleton to help out in their turn. And then Neil Crawshaw, who's a fairly new recruit in cricket. He was ex-forces. He comes along as well. I think he's in Haverfordwest or one of the villages. And there are others who step in. John Willington's done a bit. Ian Milsom's done a bit. And it's great that they do that, And on the scorers, nearly every game has a scorer. Casey Allen from Neyland, Ginny Davis from Pembroke, Rachel Sander from Pembroke Dock. But I'm mentioning people in the knowledge that there are lots of others who helped as well. Yeah. So it's a great support network as well. That enthusiasm carries on off it as well. I love going along. Cup of coffee.
It's brilliant.
If there's perhaps a bar of chocolate, not very often at least. And I watch the cricket. It's great.
That's great.
And what I love about sport is that it will bring people together from all parts of the county and beyond.
Absolutely. I can say, Gina, that there is a network of friends in Pembrokeshire. And what's lovely about those games on Boxing Day, it's not the players who enjoy it most, it's the old timers who go along and relive the games that they played. And people that they were deadly rivals with on a pitch. They used to have a pint after the game then, but they'll stay all evening and chat. Whereas in the games now, which the Welsh rugby union doesn't realise, if, say, Haverfordwest or Neyland are playing Llandybr or Llangennech, because the travel and the bus company want to get the bus home, they have one pint. They have a grab a sandwich or a curry whatever it is, and they're home. And these players, did they miss out on that? I got no doubt. It's a pity.
That's good. You mentioned Wendy Bradshaw there, of course, a Sport Pembrokeshire Award winner as well because of her work with St Ishmael's Ladies Cricket Club, which is brilliant.
Well, if it wasn't for her in St Ishmael's, I think one of my pals there is called Robbie Thomas. I used to teach him, and he's the captain of the seconds there. He's a great man with the football, and he's a real tish boy, dry as dust, very, very funny, and he calls her Uncle Wend, and I know he has said to me, I don't know what we'd do if we didn't have her keeping us all cool down here. And that's right, because they're a pretty wild bunch down in Tish.
Yeah. And we mentioned earlier, but very quickly to finish off then, Bill, it's Christmas Eve, and you've got a bit of a list of some Christmas wishes that you want to send on as well.
Well, yeah, only just to say to you two how much people in the county appreciate what you do. This, presentation and enthusiasm for sport, now and on Monday evening, people enjoy the sort of array of stuff that goes on. And I've spoken just this week, Peter Davis and Robert Johns. I pretended to run them over when I was going into Neyland. It's the fastest I've seen either of you for a long time. And they always say to me, you do, with Pembrokeshire Sport, I blow our trumpet as well with Gordon Thomas.
Do it.
And you guys are the main backbone of bringing detail to the county now, which isn't sadly in the local press anymore. And Jonathan Evans from Tenby, he was telling me he hopes the Welsh Rugby will have a better year in rugby playing days. And he's pleased that Tenby have now got a young side that are beginning to grow again.
Yeah.
But he said, I really enjoy the fact that you cover the sport, with the group of us. Sean and Patrick Hannon, the same in Neyland. And I've mentioned the Pembrokeshire Vets there because they love it. Ian Milsom says to me, I can't wait for Monday night to have a look at that. And the beauty of it is, although some people are not up at 7 in the morning, and I don't blame them, well, they watch this later on today. So the old expression that Tom and I had the face for radio doesn't apply anymore. But others who've said nice things recently, Delith and John Summons from Harford West, Dilwyn Williams, the president of Pembroke, was a star, Jack Dudley, Big Jack. If you haven't met him, you've missed out because he's a giant of a man. Min and Paul Walsh in Fishguard and Adrian Howells in Crimmock, they've all said, we get our information now about when games are on, about what's happening from the Pembrokeshire Sport and from Pure West. So it's lovely. Just thought I'd mention it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Who knows that we do try our best. We wish them a happy Christmas, don't we?
Indeed. And yes, well, the Pure Sports on a Monday evening is coming after Christmas. So, Gina, I suppose it's up to us to wish the sporting fraternity of Pembrokeshire a big Merry Christmas.
Indeed. Merry Christmas to everyone. And also, Bill, now I missed you last week. I also missed your song choice. Now
the
then,
60s.
I was going to say, back to the 60s. But what treat have you come up with this week, and why?
I come up with an iconic song from an iconic group this week. I know you, because I mentioned you as we came in, you hadn't heard of the Moody Blues. No, they weren't the Beatles, they weren't the Rolling Stones, those automatic names, but they were one of the class groups. And my favourite record from them is Go Now, which is what I'm going to do. So I wish both of you a lovely time with your families. Yes. Thanks for putting up with me on a Friday. It's a bit early, but I do enjoy it. I love it. You two have a good Christmas, and well done for all you do, because Pure West is now the station of Pembrokeshire people. And that is worth its weight in gold, because we'd lost that. So from the bottom of my heart as a listener, I thank you as well. Yes.
Bill, thank you so much. A big Nadolig Llawen to you. Enjoy this weekend and what it offers up to you. I assume you're going to the football this evening as well, and I look forward to catching up with you in 7 days' time.
That'll be very nice. Have a nice time, both of you. You deserve it.
Yes. Coming up, it is Bill's choice, the Moody Blues with Go Now, heading your way. It's 7:31, which means our interactive advent calendar is also open. So if you're watching this video on Facebook, refresh your feed and you could be winning a prize here with Pure West Radio. The Moody Blues on the way here on Pure West Radio. Merry Christmas, Bill.
Feel Good Friday with Pems Paving, your one-stop shop for dry